Mr. Ankit Mehta, who is co-chair of FICCI Committee on Drones and co-founder of Idea Forge. And as we all know, he needs no introduction. Ankit, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sumit. First of all, very good afternoon, late afternoon to everybody, all my esteemed panelists, all the guests who are attending this session today. And before I move on to what I wanted to share, I really wanted to express my sincere gratitude to all the esteemed panelists for sincerely appreciating the milestone opportunity for the drone industry that we were fortunate to be a part of as well. And it is when I reflect back on this journey and how the drone industry has come to this forum, while some elements have been shared by our esteemed panelists today, just wanted to reiterate that if we look back at our journey in India in the drone industry, about not more than just 10 months back, 10 months back from today, there was pretty much drones were a good to have system. Like, it's okay if I have, it's okay if I don't have drones. Like, I mean, nobody was really bothered, and the entire industry was struggling to basically convince people to say that it's a worthwhile technology to invest behind. And despite having class leading capabilities for a really long while, it's been a massive struggle over the years. And like we mentioned that demand, supply, and regulations, everything was in a disarray in my broad opinion. A lot of efforts were made across board, but it wasn't moving in a lot of different directions, right? It wasn't getting a headway in that one sense. In fact, it would be the low point of our drone industry. If I were to look at how March 20 ended, it was genuinely the low point of the drone industry in our country. However, it is fascinating how in these last 9 to 10 months, it has completely changed the perspective of the drone industry and how the drone industry is today poised for unprecedented growth. So I'll just sort of highlight a sort of chronology of how things happened, right? So the COVID-19 pandemic started and the attendant lockdown started in the country. And Sir just highlighted a short while back that anywhere and everywhere a drone was available, we had to leverage that technology because there was no way for us to go inside those containment zones and see if there is any effective control at all or not. There were no eyes. Police itself could not go inside those containment zones. So that was the first time we also perhaps realized that there is a perspective that a drone technology brings in that is just not viable with any other technology, be it CCTV or any other fixed deployment technology. It's not possible to get that kind of perspective with anything else. Secondly, we also realized in our heart of hearts that we were woefully inadequately prepared for such a situation. We had no deployment at the last mile. Global movement, national movement, everything was blocked, which means that there was actually no alternative but to use, even if ineffective, whatever was available at hand. And therefore, it sort of has probably sunk in to some extent in terms of what we are seeing in terms of movement on ground, that yes, we should have been better prepared. And that has seen a spurt of exploration by all of the police forces in the country to look at the drone technology in a meaningful manner going forward. The other thing which happened, which is supremely in favor of our industry, is the announcement of the Swamitwa scheme, which under which has already been expressed. We want to map the entire 660,000 villages of the country, provide property cards to our forces, and entirely this has to be done using drones that can deliver very high accuracy as well as very high fidelity of imagery to be able to provide property cards for economic empowerment of our rural population. Now, this scale of a project is unprecedented anywhere in the world. So it's a massive motion movement and a huge acknowledgement of the fact that this technology has transformative potential. Now, that was not enough, because the regulations, like Amber sir was mentioning, were not ready for that kind of deployment. So then came in the whole series of exemptions which were provided, not just from the point of view of deploying drones for law enforcement use cases for the pandemic, but deploying drones for the Swamitwa use case, for mapping these villages, for helping in the entire locust swarm, and unprecedented pace at which these exemptions were given is really, really heartening to see. And that pace has continued despite the fact that there may not be an imminent danger or threat. But I'm really happy to note that pace of that execution has actually maintained, and we are seeing that exemptions are coming fast and thick to increase the demand of UAV industry. Then we had this unfortunate incident at the Galwan on our borders, and that incident galvanized the entire country to realize that we need to look at local sources of this technology, and we need to look at this technology at our borders as well. We need to make sure that we have eyes, and it was because we had no eyes on our border that we were in a very difficult scenario when this happened, or we even got into that scenario. So with that, there is a huge, genuine, unprecedented galvanization of the entire ecosystem to buy. Sir also reflected it a short while back, that everybody wants to buy Indian technology, and there is sincere, dedicated effort in that direction, which is again something which was operationalized so effectively by what Army Design Bureau spearheaded in terms of procuring or getting the army the ability to have eyes on our border using these systems. And the other programs that Sir has highlighted, Army Design Bureau remains to be a nodal office for anybody who wants to understand how they can support the Indian Army with technology in India. Apart from Galwan, there is another global movement which I want to acknowledge and highlight, is that everybody, as a fallout of the COVID-19, is looking at alternative sources of supply. Not just India, but everywhere in the world, everyone is looking at alternative sources of supply. And it's a huge opportunity for us. And last but not least, Amber sir had mentioned about the Nagorno-Karabakh incident, the war that happened between Armenia and Azerbaijan, which is the first war after 1971, where a country had to put down arms in front of another. And it was entirely won on the strength of the drone technology. So in this short span of 9 months, an industry that was a good to have, largely I don't want to have, to an industry where we are listing more than 10 projects by the Indian Army, and across board exploitation of this technology for bringing in transformational change to conventional industries, conventional ways of looking at things, and conventional ways of working. So while this has happened and there is genuine traction on ground, it is unprecedented, and we have seen in Rajan sir's presentation that the opportunity truly is massive in our country alone. At the same time, why are we as a country uniquely placed to actually be able to become the drone hub of the world? It is something that we should reflect on in terms of just understanding the geography of our country. We are a country with probably the widest variety of terrain fluctuations. We have marshy areas on one hand, we have the mountainous regions on the other hand, we have desert, we have extreme cold environments, we have extreme hot environments, we have marine environment. So you name any type of topography that we can think of, drones have to be able to meet the requirements of that entire spectrum of utilization across the country, which makes drones built in India, qualified for Indian conditions, genuinely capable of being operated anywhere in the world. I can definitely bet on that. Simply because we have had to prove our technology day in and day out in these conditions, in these environments. Very proud to say that even today, as we speak, every 15 minutes, one Idea Forge drone takes off in the country somewhere or the other, which means that we are able to operationalize this technology to that extent as well. Having said that, it is also very important to understand that Indian evaluation procedures at the defense forces is another benchmark in itself. The way we validate the systems that we induct in our armed forces is something that people look up to, because we have genuinely extreme environments, situations, and when it is going to get deployed for the defense forces, the cacophony of equipment that is going to be working together is just mind-numbing. And therefore, to prepare for that, you have to qualify to the utmost standards possible. Sometimes they seem unreasonable to entrepreneurs like us, but we understand that it is required to qualify at those extreme levels, and products that get certified in India, that qualify in India for these requirements, I believe that there is a huge global market, especially in this current environment, in these current conditions, where focus has shifted from just buying the least expensive solution, whether it works or not, was not the bigger criteria before the pandemic began. Today, everybody has hunger for buying a system that actually delivers the outcome that it is really desired for. And therefore, people are willing to pay the right price for that technology as well. So I feel that if I were to share from an industry point of view where the industry stands today, I feel these are unprecedented times. This is genuinely a time where we are probably just stepping onto that exponential growth curve. And if all of us work together, address the concerns, for example, being able to provide technology at the right price, being able to create technology which is reliable, I do not see any reason why the Indian industry cannot lead the world in the new future on the drone technology. Thank you so much.